Hello everyone, Constitutionalist Libertarian here. And in this video today we're going to be taking a look at an article from Wired that was published on the 7th of July, written by Graham McMillan. These days it makes more sense for Batman to be a villain. Now when I saw this title I jumped to a conclusion, and I hate jumping to conclusions, but when they're proven right, it's kind of a win-lose, because I feel vindicated for jumping to that conclusion, but then I feel bad for how I look at humanity, and you know, that's the lose part of it, because when you have a title like this, these days it makes more sense for Batman to be a villain. There is definitely going to be some twisted, leftist, SJW fucking logic behind it. And sure enough, there is. Not only that, they're going to take the traits that actually make Batman the hero, and they're going to twist them with this logic and make them so he's the villain. And they're going to take the characteristics and traits that make Joker the psychotic villain that he is, and they're going to twist them into virtue. That's what I jumped to with this, and sure enough, I was proven right. Let's get into this, because Graham here is fucked in the head, and so is the guy, Sean Murphy, that's created this new miniseries for Batman. Batman has been a hero for decades, constantly saving Gotham City from madmen and murderers. But take away the cape and the noble purpose, and he's actually a terror, someone capable of causing so much damage as he prevents. What is it with you fucking writers today using the dash shit? You know, grammatically, you would be better off using a comma. This trendy fucking dash shit has got to fucking end. It's not proper English. Jesus fucking Christ. You don't even know proper English, and you're going to write about Batman. I got a feeling that you don't even have a fucking clue about Batman. Because here's the thing. You don't when you actually say this sentence. Because, oh, let's take away the cape and his noble purpose. That actually makes him a terrorist. So you're hinting he's a terrorist by taking away his noble purpose. And that he's someone capable of causing as much damage as he prevents. Well, yeah, he can cause damage, but he prevents a fucking shit ton of it. And when he causes damage, it's to stop the bad guy. From, oh, I don't know, doing something like, let's see, in Batman Begins, giving everyone the worst trip of their life. Huh. The millions of people in Gotham City, or the train his family paid for. Huh. I'll go with the fucking train getting destroyed. The damage of that. But, see, you don't understand that. You don't understand how there's trade-offs, and how in the especially in the fictional comic book world, destruction is a good thing. It's action. Especially now with the cinematic universe, that's become an even bigger part. Because instead of just having a big boom, you know, with a mushroom cloud type thing being drawn on a page, you can actually show something being blown up and destroyed. But see, you're going to conflate fiction and non-fiction. Or I should say, conflate fiction and reality. As seen through the lens of the 21st century, a time when it is understood that vigilante justice is dangerous, Bruce Wayne's actions don't look much more safe or sane than the Joker's. Whoa, 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 wait a minute. This kind of has a slanted undertone of, let's attack the people who have defended themselves against Antifa. Because you people on the left have called what the people that our free speech, because I'm not going to say right, because a lot of them aren't even right. I'm not, I mean, you idiots on the left would call me right, when as a constitutionalist libertarian, I'm the closest thing you'd find to the founding fathers today, for the most part. But the thing is here, okay, you're looking at the fact of the people who value free speech, the people who are willing to defend themselves and defend it, when little Antifa fucks who are being aided, oh, let's see, in the case of Berkeley, by the mayor, the police chief, the police who won't ignore the unlawful order that they're being given. Because to me, when you're telling someone, even though the Supreme Court says they do not have to protect and serve, but when you see crimes being committed and you're told to stand down, to me, you're aiding and abetting those criminals. So it's an unlawful order to stand down. So you have a situation where you have all these Antifa fucks going there to beat down people, and they defend themselves. And you idiots on the left portrayed it as vigilante justice to defend yourself. Okay? You tried to make, or I should, not you directly, Graham, but people like you tried to make Moldy Locks look like a fucking victim when the bitch had a wine bottle in her hand and tried to clock that dude in the face and got a punch to the, punch him in the throat, I should say, and she got a fucking clock to the forehead as a result. I mean, this is what gets me, is this is exactly what you're trying to portray that as. I know, just by reading that, I can tell what's going on in your head. If I'm wrong, I'd love for you to correct me on that if you ever see this video. But that's how you're basically saying things are. Okay? And what's more fucked up is you're trying to say that what he's doing isn't as safe or sane as the Joker. Well, considering he's protecting the average citizen from supervillains, he's actually probably a lot safer than, oh, the supervillain who's trying to kill a bunch of people like the Joker. Holy fucking shit. Graham, have you ever looked at a Batman comic or watched a Batman movie? Also, on the note of proper English, I don't know how many times I have to say this. It is not proper English to start a sentence with "and." They actually used to teach this in fucking middle school English. Actually, I remember getting taught that in elementary school. Like 4th grade, maybe, or a little earlier. And I got it drilled into me as I went through school. It's not proper English. But yet you fucks who have jobs writing do it all the time. Come on, Graham. Proper fucking English. You don't start a sentence with "and." It should be, in his next incarnation, they're not. You don't need the "and." But you have to put it there. And in his next incarnation, they're not. Well, of course, because you got to villainize Batman. Because he is actually a symbol. He's a symbol of justice. He's a symbol of law. He's a symbol of order. Even though he's a vigilante, okay, and some would even call him an anti-hero, all right? Even though he's that, he represents those things. So we've got to make him look bad, all right? You people on the left want this society to fall in to the trap. You want the Western world to fall into the trap that Roman society did. You want to justify decadence after decadence after decadence. And you stupid fucks not understanding history. Decadence leads to the downfall of the society, and history fucking repeats itself. Huh. Two simple concepts. Decadence, downfall. Every ancient society, or every... We'll make that broader. Every society, as they become more and more decadent, which you're clearly promoting in here, you want more decadence. But as that happens, the society sees its downfall. That is the whole premise of actually the Oh, I don't know, Batman universe. Look at Batman Begins, for example. The city has become decadent, which is why the League of Shadows has shown up and tried to wipe out the city more than once. Which is, you're promoting the fucking decadence. And you're trying to demonize Batman for trying to stop the decadence leading to the downfall. Talk about twisted leftist fucking mentality. For Batman White Knight writer illustrator Sean Murphy, who made The Wake, never heard of it, Punk Rock Jesus, oh god, never heard of that, created a version of Gotham with real, modern day problems, and then let... You know, you don't need a comma between... Dude, what the fuck? You don't know proper fucking English, Graham. Because... Right here, okay, I hate when I'm fucking reading something, because the way I was raised, proper fucking English, obviously you weren't. But when you have with real modern day problems and then let alright, see, problems and then let Batman could be one straight thing. It does not have to have a comma there. It should actually read more like, created a version of Gotham with real modern day problems and then let Batman solve them by making him the villain. You don't need the comma there. I mean, it can be there, but you don't need it. You put commas where you don't necessarily need them. You use ands to start fucking sentences. Dude, if I ran Wired, you'd be fired. We also wouldn't see this shit being printed or put on a website. This is fucking disgusting. Your fucking language skills are atrocious. Your grasp of English vernacular is pathetic. So, wait a minute. You see, this is what's fucked up. Batman White Knight, alright? You create a version of Gotham with real modern day problems and then let Batman solve them by making him the villain. That is the... I had to reread that, because that makes absolutely no sense. He can't solve... If he's the villain, he's creating the fucking problem. That's the point of the villain. Holy shit, talk about a contradiction. How? In the comic miniseries in the comic miniseries Alternate Reality, it's the Joker, cured of his insanity, who sees that Bruce Wayne is just another part of the city's vicious cycle of crime and sets out to stop him. So you're gonna push communism, so the Joker's... Which, I'm sorry, he's pushing communism, he's going after the rich. You're fucked in the head if you think that you deserve to have something because he's rich. Okay, the man is a philanthropist. This is what's fucked up. Bruce Wayne is a philanthropist. He puts millions upon millions upon millions of dollars into charities. Yet he's the fucking problem. How the hell does that make any fucking sense? Oh, that's right, because he's rich, and the Joker wants his money. Ha ha. He wants other people to have his money. So basically, this is a rehash of the third installment of the last Batman franchise, where we're going to let the criminals and everyone else take the other people's shit. Except it's going to be the Joker instead of Bane. Gotcha. My main goal was to undo the comic tropes while changing Gotham from a comic book city into a real city. A city dealing with everything from Black Lives Matter to the growing wage gap, Murphy says. DC? Didn't you see what happened to Marvel pushing this social justice bullshit Okay? They literally can't give away the comics that they've created with the social justice undertones in them, or like outright social justice fucking themes in them, because no one wants to buy them. Okay? The comic book stores, what stores are left, can't sell them. Okay? I bet you if you walk, Graham, if and Murphy, dude, if you guys walked in to Jay and Silent Bob's secret stash when the cameras weren't rolling, I'm sure Walt Flanagan and everyone else there would tell you that the shit don't fucking sell. And you know how they know? Because they deal with comics day in and day out and selling them. When the cameras were on, because Kevin Smith has kind of gone SJW, I'm guessing the story would be different. But they would tell you that. I'm sure they would. If you asked them without the cameras rolling and off the record, where you're a quote-unquote reporter and can't do proper fucking English. I mean, how the hell would Bruce Wayne, when he's trying to help people, be part of the vicious circle of crime? But yet I'm sure in your miniseries you're going to try to find stupid ways to make that possible. See, this is what's fucked up. I mean, when you're putting in... See, the point of comics is escape. It's to get away from reality. And when you're putting in the Black Lives Matter bullshit, especially when most comic book readers are white men, okay, they are the majority. There's more white men than Asian or black, okay. There's, I would probably say, more white women, but a lot of them are feminazis. Those are probably the only ones that you would sell this comic book to. If that, because not a lot of the comic book women are necessarily feminists. I mean, when they do cosplay and stuff like that, and you've got feminists going, that's the objectification of women. Yeah. So you're creating this shit for no one. Because no one wants to see Black Lives Matter in Gotham City. No one wants to see the debunked over and over and over and over again wage gap bullshit in Gotham City. What are you going to have? Fucking Batgirl bitching that she's getting 70 cents to fucking Robin's dollar? I mean, come on now. That's probably what you're going to fucking have, is Batgirl going, how come Robin gets $10, $100 an hour, and I only get 70? That would be the fucking shit. And if we ever make this comic miniseries into a fucking reality, we can have fucking Black Widow herself, okay, with all of her bitching, fucking play the role of Batgirl. She'd be perfect for it. And we can have Garofalo play fucking Batman, and he could be a beta male fucking cuck Batman and agree with her, okay? Because that's what you're fucking trying to do here, is you're trying to fucking push ideology into comics when comics are fucking escape. It don't work like that. Okay, so, but rather than write a comic book, you don't need the but. Rather than write a comic book about the wage gap works, I gave those ideas to the Joker, who leads a kind of media war against Gotham's elite by winning people over with his potent observations and rhetoric. Oh, okay. So, you knew that a comic book about the wage gap wouldn't sell. The people at DC, and I'm sure every other comic book house you shopped that with, said it won't sell. So yeah, I'll take a already established franchise and I'll clusterfuck it by interjecting the wage gap into it. Bravo! You manipulative little fuck. And here's the thing that really gets me about this, is you give those ideas to the Joker, who's leading a kind of media war against Gotham elite by winning the people with his potent observations and rhetoric. So what you're doing is you're taking his ability to manipulate people, to see what's going on, and to use it to his advantage. Negative traits. And you're trying to make them positive. Because, oh yeah, he won't use this to his own fucking advantage. Oh no, he's just the fucking Joker. Okay, yeah, he's been cured. No, he believes this fucking shit about the wage gap. You gotta be in fucking La La Land when you have actual facts in front of you. When you have Hoff Summers, a well-known feminist, saying this is complete fucking bullshit. Okay? She gets no attention to that when she's showing actual evidence. But Anita Sarkeesian, who fucking talks out her ass, and probably some other orifices, some other hairy ones that look like a Wookiee in a leg lock, when she talks about the wage gap, you take it at fucking face value, and she provides no evidence. So, yeah, basically, you've combined Anita Sarkeesian and the Joker. This'll end well. So you have a communist feminist. How many things can you put on the Joker for hats? I mean, he's got hat stacked on top of hat, stacked on top of hat. And you're making his traits that make him the sociopathic criminal he is into good things. That's disgusting. It's sleazy. It's misrepresentative. You want someone who represents the anti-establishment, the anti-law and order, the criminal element, the less moral side of people. You want him to be a representation because you want people to be more like that. You people on the left have no clue what that'll lead to. Because you don't study history. You fucking revise history and you wipe it out. Because, oh no, if we talk about like how, for example, the Greeks and the Romans, their societies got decadent and that was their downfall, and that we shouldn't repeat that. And that's what you're, I mean, when you people on the left are now normalizing everything under the sun, including pedophilia, yeah. That decadence, that depravity is what led to the downfall of Greece, because you had Greek men fucking Greek boys, and we're only concerned about reproducing, being with women to reproduce. Matter of historical fact, go look it up. Okay, and unlike Cenk when he says that, all right, when I say that, you go look it up, it's a fact. That was the type of stuff that led to that downfall. What you want is the same shit, and you're using the Joker in comic book fucking propaganda to push that. This is disgusting. Despite the fact that their roles are reversed, having heroes and villains who exist as a response to current political climate is very much on brand for Batman. No. Their roles aren't reversed. Joker is still a fucking criminal. He's just manipulating the fucking people, and this idiot is using that in this. Because I don't care. When you're pushing anti-freedom, anti-egalitarian, anti-equality ideals, like feminism, like Black Lives Matter, like the bullshit wage gap, like the thing that's led to now more women are graduating from college than men, and you have women who are now older who are freezing their fucking eggs because they can't find a man to their status, to their level, to their standard. Okay, that's the shit that we're talking about here. Okay, this is the environment that you're trying to push with this. Okay, that's not for the good of society. Okay, I don't care if you're a woman and you want to go off and be a CEO. I don't care if you're fucking gay, trans, whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want. Okay, do whatever you want in the privacy of your own home. Don't shove it down my fucking throat. Okay? I mean, gay pride parades. You get guys getting fucked on the streets, literally. Okay, in like San Francisco, and that's acceptable to you. I mean, that's ridiculous. That should be in the privacy of your own home. I mean, if you had a straight pride parade and people were fucking on the streets, you'd all, regardless, straight, gay, whatever, you'd want to see, most of you would want to see them get arrested. Or at least the people who have children and don't want their children to see it and shit like that. But if you mention that because you don't want your kids to see two guys fucking on the street or two girls, you know, fucking finger banging or whatever, because you don't want to have your child exposed to that, you're a bigot. I mean, because you're trying to normalize everything, and let's use the Joker for that. And if you want to say I'm exaggerating out there, people go right ahead. But this is exactly what they're trying to do with this. When you have a sociopath pushing unpopular ideas, yeah. For nearly 8 decades, the Joker and Dark Knight have faced off in the comics and on screen, and each time, whether they're brooding or cartoonish, they've come to represent the kind of good or bad guys their audience needs. No, not necessarily true. See, you're trying to equate society when you're not even looking at society at a particular time to how the comic book was. It doesn't work like that. In the 1940s, when the Joker was introduced in Batman #1, the idea of having a masked vigilante face-punching foes seemed like a good way to fight crime. No, that's not how it was. So let's ignore the backstory to Batman. Let's ignore the time that Batman was introduced. Let's ignore the fact of, during the time of Batman's introduction, individualism individualism was stronger in each of us as members of society. Let's leave out the fact that back then, okay, it was seen as your civic duty when you saw a crime happening to stop it. I mean, after all, the whole idea of citizen's arrest and the concept of it being your civic duty to step in when you see a crime happening have been around for a very, very, very long time. Longer than the United States has been around. And it's a value that followed here into the United States, and people used to patrol, like police their own neighborhoods, and you never had rampant crime when you had a neighborhood that was vested in it and made sure crime didn't happen in it. That's a matter of historical fact. Crime started rising when you had this push of, I guess you could call them back then progressives, even though they weren't labeled as such or whatever, pushing this idea of having a police force. Boston, especially after the 80s, was a crime-ridden fucking shithole. It's still pretty crime-ridden. Like, basically, they were the first to have a city police department in the United States. Crime rose as you had Boston saying, well, you shouldn't be doing this. Let the police department handle it. That's when things started to actually increase to a large extent, because you had less people stopping crime. So you have this value system of back then that being the case. You have the fact that we're talking about a time when cowboys and Indians and the lone cowboy, Lone Ranger type stuff happened. I mean, you could make an analogy that the Batmobile is Silver, Batman is the Lone Ranger, and Robin is Tonto. That's the formula. That's how things were. You were seen as your civic duty to step in if you saw injustice. Batman does that. So To have something created like that in an environment where that is socially acceptable, to say that it seemed like a good way to fight crime, that's how crime was fought, because the individual took responsibility when they saw injustice. Okay? Yeah, it was a good way. It worked for a very long time. Kind of works with these citizen patrols that you have out there. I mean, they're not supposed to get involved in stopping or whatever, but some have, and it's deterred fucking crime. But in the decades since, society has learned that's not always the best course of action. Really? I can give a current day example of when that was the best action. When the little Antifa fucks at Berkeley were trying to beat the shit out of people and, pulling them out of the crowd so that they could surround them and kick the crap out of them. You had that fucking professor with a bike lock bashing people in the fucking melon. Yeah. That's a prime fucking example when the people defended themselves and stopped what happened. They showed Antifa, you little fucks. You come at us, you better think twice about it. And now, oh no, those scrawny little fucking black skinny jeans wearing little cocksuckers, alright, are fucking training. So that when they go up against people who are for free speech, they hope to be able to take them. And, yeah, that won't happen. It is sexy to think crime can be stopped with a fist, but the real solution is a lot more boring than that. Education, increasing wages, building trust, Murphy says. The Batman rides between noble vigilante and overzealous oppressor will always be shifting as our society changes. No. Okay. First off, it isn't the fact that it's sexy to think crime can be stopped with a fist. Okay? Let's put this in the perspective of reality. You have a man who's out there without a gun, fighting criminals with a gun. He is using his mind and his body to do so. So would you rather he's like the Punisher and he shoots them? Would you rather he be like Deadpool and he shoots them? Because those are, that's how you got to look at it. Not only that, you have a situation here where you're trying to say that increasing education. All right, well, Detroit, they basically pay, I believe they're still the most per student. I could be wrong on this. It might have changed. But they pay overwhelmingly more per student to educate them. You have a situation where that is the case, but yet they turn out the dumbest fucks on the planet. Okay, they only have 30%, if that, graduating. So, alright, there's education for you. Well, what does that mean? It ain't working. Let's educate them better. Well, you're putting so much money into education, they should be the smartest fucks on the planet, and Detroit should be a non-crime-ridden fucking shithole, because they're basically putting out criminals. I hate to say it, but that's what they're doing. So, that isn't going to help, because, Detroit is a prime example of that. Okay, increasing wages. No. You stupid fucks don't understand economics. You never fucking do. Alright? Sean, buddy, draw comic books, ignore social justice, okay, and just stick to the fucking fantasy. Because if you increase wages, if you artificially do so, what ends up happening is you've now created inflation. What you need is for the market. In an open market, this will happen, but when you've got, like, all the government bullshit that you do, It won't happen because, oh, well, that's not true that the market can dictate the wage. Excuse me. Henry Ford was one of the best paying employers, speaking of Detroit, not only there, but in pretty much anywhere in the fucking country. That's one reason why people flocked to Michigan. That's why people flocked to Detroit and the surrounding towns and cities. And there was no minimum wage requirement. Bullshit. He understood that you have to pay your workers well to get them to produce at a high pace. And not only that, handle the tedious nature of repetitive doing the same job over and over. And they learned you got to rotate people around to an extent. But, yeah. The thing is he paid more. So, instead of looking at, let's artificially increase the wages like you clearly want to see happen, let's tackle inflation. How do you tackle inflation? You get rid of unnecessary fucking spending. Like, oh, all the free healthcare to the illegals. All the free housing to the illegals. All the food stamps to the fucking illegals. Huh. That's a lot of fucking money. Get rid of all of that shit. Get them off of fucking, the government tit. Deport them. Get them the fuck out of here so that they're not consuming services. Boom. There's a big drain being taken off of them. Wow. Now, you don't need to spend as much money. You don't need to have the fucking private for-profit Federal Reserve printing more money at interest to us, which increases inflation. Because now you can take that money and spread it around and maybe put it towards some social programs to address, crime in the inner city and the things that are actually the real cause, not these social justice fucking critical theory bullshit ideas that you have that you think are causes. I mean, when you say that Batman rides between noble vigilante and overzealous oppressor, you have no clue who the fuck Batman is. Because how is he an overzealous oppressor? Does he go after the general public in any way, shape, or form? No. Does he try to stop them from doing normal shit? No. Does he infringe on their personal liberties? Like free speech or any press or anything like that? No. So, how is he an oppressor? Because he doesn't do anything that will actually oppress someone. Unless you mean stopping criminals from committing crimes and making sure they end up in prison for that. Because that's the only quote-unquote oppression that I would see here. And if you think that's oppression, you're an Antifa-loving little fuck who wants to see those little shitbags get away with the crap that they're doing. Because that's what you're... I mean, yes, I'm jumping to a fucking conclusion with this. But when you're saying that Batman, who would take Antifa, okay, and toss them all around like fucking rag dolls, they could swarm on him like they've done it, like they did at Berkeley, okay, with people. And he would beat all of them the fuck up. Rightfully so. All of the ones that jumped on him, that did a pig pile, they'd be pissing blood, spitting teeth out. And you're trying to make it sound like that's a bad thing. I mean, no, I'm not saying taking shit into your own hands, but you're trying to make, which I'm sure someone on the left will try to say. What I'm getting at is you're making it sound like beating up the bad guy for being the bad guy and doing bad things is being an oppressor. Stupidity is fucking extensive with you. See, this is another thing that goes to show, because that you're almost definitely for like those little Antifa fucks, because you're trying to make it sound like they've become accepted in our society, because our okay, will always be shifting as our own society changes. Yeah, as social justice takes hold and curbs things like free speech and freedom of thought and diversity of opinion, okay, that's oppression. But yet you're going to try to portray Batman as the oppressor for trying to stop people who want to do that. Like Antifa, which would be a prime example of people who we would kick the fucking shit out of for the stuff that they pull violence-wise. That's fucking pathetic, dude. You're both fucking pathetic. Graham, Murphy, you're both fucking pathetic. And much like the creators of history, various Batmans have changed him with the times. They've also updated the Jokers to suit his environs. Oh, God. To suit... Yeah. Oh, God. Not exactly the best choice of fucking wording, but whatever. Over the years, he's been a sadistic psychopath. Yeah. And okay. And a giggly, greedy comedian depending on the story. And the zeitgeist's demands. Oh, God, we gotta throw in zeitgeist in here. Because we're fucking pushing a fucking propaganda fucking story here. The fucking zeitgeist. That's been true in the comic books and on screen. Yeah, to an extent. Not really, though. See, the thing is you have no concept of Batman, and you're going to fucking talk out your ass about him. And we're going to see this further on here as we get into this. I mean, you're trying to make it sound like it was society that changed. No, it wasn't necessarily society that changed things. Okay? The original murderous conception of the character by Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson had to be toned when the Comics Code Authority was established in 1954. Yeah, because the Comic Code Authority were people like Tipper Gore with video, with music. In the 90s, you know, the friggin', or actually the 80s, or, anyways, no, that was the 90s, but then the video game people with violence and all that other fucking shit, basically they were like, oh yeah, you gotta tone this shit down. So they created the Comics Code Authority because of those fucking minority in society went, oh no. But in the 1970s, the Dark Murderous Joker came back. Actually, wrong. The Dark Murderous Joker didn't come back until the fucking 80s. But you probably weren't alive to know that and never picked up a Batman fucking comic book. He was still campy. He was still the comedic Joker in the 70s. Okay? That's a fact. It was in the 80s when they decided to really start pushing things that happened. Because they're like, wait a minute, this is the fucking 80s here. What the fuck? But see, you don't understand that, and then you talk about something in the 80s and don't grasp something. The more recently, he's reflected the outlandishness of the 1980s thanks to Jack Nicholson's portrayal in Tim Burton's Batman. Actually, no. You've clearly never watched Tim Burton's Batman. Tim Burton's Batman was a fucking retro Gotham City. That's why it was with all the old cars, the old retro fashion. It wasn't a 1980s thing, fucktard. The Joker was the comedic fucking comic book fucking code authority fucking campy fucking comedic one. With a little bit of murderousness thrown in. It was not a representation of the 1980s. If it was, Tim Burton's Batman would have had Michael Douglas cast as the Joker going, greed is good. That's a representation of the 1980s, fuckwit. Go talk to your parents or your grandparents to find out what they were like. Holy shit. As someone who's lived through the 80s, you got no fucking clue. Holy fucking shit. And the existential dread of the new millennium via Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight. Well, actually, if you looked at the comics, the Joker being portrayed is more that of the 90s, not the millennium. But you have never fucking looked at anything Batman before except for maybe a movie. And you're going to talk out your fucking ass. The Joker became a very sadistic person from the 80s on. It was a progression. For fuck's sake, he killed a Robin to kind of push that limit. That was the point of killing the Robin, besides the fact that the readership weren't necessarily fond of him. And Murphy's latest version, which will hit comic book stores October 4th, is just as apropos. You gotta throw those big words in. You can't even use proper fucking English, but you're gonna use words you probably didn't know the definition of until you went into your word processor and went synonym. And you start a fucking new paragraph, not only a new sentence, but a fucking new paragraph with and. Murphy's latest version, which will hit comic book stores October 4, is just as apropos. No need for the and, fuckwit. I hope you fucking see my video. See how bad I've trashed your fucking writing skills, because they suck fucking Tijuana style fucking donkey show dick. Dude, go back and learn how to write fucking proper English. At a time when protectors fail to protect and propaganda has immense power. Here comes in the fucking anti-Trump, fucking from the side, fucking shaded, jaded fucking jab. Okay? When protectors fail to protect and propaganda has immense power. Very few stories in comics, don't need the dash, at least. You don't need the fucking comma there either. Holy. Dude. The way this sentence should be written is, at a time when protectors fail to protect and propaganda has immense power, very few stories in comics, at least, comma, could be more of the moment than a series that shows Batman's vigilantism as part of a vicious cycle and the Joker's charisma as a marketing tool for his brand of justice. Dude! What the fuck? Your fucking editor? He should be fired, you should be fired, and you should both go learn fucking proper English. Holy fucking shit. No wonder why. When you have people purveying news and information, pushing ideology and agenda, and can't even fucking do it with proper English, no wonder people are fucking stupid. And what gets me is you want to talk about at a time when protectors fail to protect and propaganda has immense power. What you're pushing is fucking propaganda. So you know that it has immense power, but yet you use that ability to fucking push this bullshit. And what protectors fail to protect? I mean, because President Trump has done more for the LGBTQAEIOU and sometimes Y community than Obama fucking did. Because, you know, he isn't trying to exploit them like Obama did, for number one. For starters, he isn't doing that. Then from there, you know, you get the fact that, oh, you know, he's trying to stop the influx of an ideology into this country that is, just slightly against him. I mean, they, you know, where these people are coming from, the region of the world, they do throw gay people off of fucking roofs. But you see, you want to embrace them. They want to kill you, but you want to embrace them because you're fucking morons. We got an idiot with no clue of Batman. We got propaganda, we got ideology, and the only propaganda you want is yours. You want your propaganda to be the only one to be heard. But propaganda can be true. That's what's fucked up. Yours isn't. But propaganda can be true. Okay? It's just the promotion of information, whether it's true or false. Most of the cases, propaganda is false. But you don't want the truth that the other side is pushing to fucking silence you, because the truth does that, and you can't have it. That's critical theory for you. I mean, just look at this. So you're talking about Batman's vigilantism as part of a vicious cycle. Excuse me. If criminals get the shit kicked out of them, I mean, look at Batman in the comics and the movies and the spin-off TV series, okay? Like, you know, in the TV series as well. Even like kind of like an extension of the universe, like say Batman Beyond. Batman has such an influence over Gotham because of as you put it, vigilantism, that the criminals are not out on the streets committing crimes because they're at night because they're afraid that the Bat's going to take them down. How is that a vicious cycle? To me, that's not a vicious cycle at all. That's a cycle that I can get behind. Because if he's got the criminals going, well, fuck me, I really don't want to go out tonight because I could end up getting arrested after Batman kicks the shit out of me and leaves me there with a note of my crimes. Yeah. That's going to be a deterrence. But, yeah, whatever. You're a fucking moron. And you're playing up Joker's charisma as a marketing tool for his brand of justice. What brand of justice? Social justice. That's right. What justice are we talking about? Social justice. Where the Socratic method don't mean shit and critical theory reigns. Where if you say something is, you have to fucking sit there and dissect shit. And even if it doesn't, you still find stupid shit to try to back your thing. And you could be way off in left fucking field and out of your fucking mind. But you still believe what you believe. Because, yeah, that's the type of justice Joker is pushing. Which kind of fits with the Joker because it's not based in reality and none of the stuff that Joker's ever done has had a basis in fucking reality. It's been La La Land, kind of like critical theory, kind of like social justice. We know the Joker is a genius. We know he's relentless, and we know he can play the crowd. So why not make him a politician? Well, yeah, because he's the same fucking scumbag, criminal, sociopath type that would be a politician. Bravo for pointing that out. Good fucking job. But you see, you're not pointing it out, like, blatantly. You're like, well, yeah, I mean, you know, he's a manipulative fuck, and little Antifa fucks associate with him, as opposed to Batman. Why? Because they're fucking criminals. So instead of appeasing to people who are, like, you know, living off of their parents, wearing skinny jeans, going and pushing communism, going, oh yeah, you know, I'm white and everything's fucking oppressive and my parents are fucking shitbags, and yet have all the fucking amenities because of those parents providing them. When you cater to those people, do you honestly think when they're spending their money on drugs and alcohol, well, I should say their parents' money, they're going to put a little of it aside for a fucking comic book? No. It's the people that you're trying to alienate that associate with Batman that spend money on comic books. Good luck with this fucking shit show. Murphy asked, Frank Miller modeled him after David Bowie. Well, not really. I mean, kind of, but not really. Chris Nolan showed him as a controlled sociopath. I see the Joker as Don Draper. Actually, Christopher Nolan showed him not as a sociopath. Like a controlled sociopath. Okay? A megamaniacal genius with sociopathic tendencies would actually be more accurate. You know, this is going to end up being a complete fucking failure. And I can't wait to watch it happen. DC, you should have learned from fucking Marvel. But you didn't. This guy's going to probably kill the momentum for future Batman movies. If this keeps up and you allow him to continue and to push more of the SJW shit, or you allow someone else to do that and make him the villain, you know, make Batman the villain, you're going to kill the fucking franchise. You're the out of basically, you know, the two major players, you're in second place. Can you afford to sacrifice profitability, popularity, all those things? No. But you're going to do it anyways. But anyways, this is the Constitutionalist Libertarian. If you liked the video, definitely hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell as well for notifications. Thank you all. Have a good one.